So there's a lot of invasive insects that have come through. So we had a talk last time, I think Clive Bose did the talk on the whole climate change, what we can expect coming through in terms of mosquitoes, in terms of other forestry pests. So if you do see something different, what do you do? So first thing is have it identified. So we have a insect identification service in addition to the waste service that we do. If it is a non-native species, there is a group called the Non-Native Species Secretariat. We have had, in the space of a year, we generally have about 2 or 3 insects that we need to escalate to that agency. They are one below the government agency, so if need be, there might be 5 or 10 black ML 500s coming, Mercedes coming and shrouding off the area. And there was an ant that came that was in London. It was an invasive ant. The area needed to be cordoned off and came in a plant pot. So these insect species, they cause a lot of havoc, forestry in terms of public health as well, and other areas, wood as well. So they like termites. England doesn't have any termites. So if you do see anything different, let us know. We'll identify it straight away. We've got a very rapid insect identification service, and we can then recommend the next route. All right. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Is it restricted to insects?
Yeah, spiders are tricky. We can do spiders. We have experts that can have a look at spiders. We have done feces as well, different mammal feces. So that's a bit tricky as well. We've all sorts comes in, but we can.
I was going to say, in the age of smartphones, there is some useful apps out there which you can take a photo and from the extensive library, you can use, if you get a decent photo, you can get usually a good and accurate ID, especially for larger insects. And there's something that's called an iNaturalist, which is it's a free app. You can download it and it can be useful.
Yeah, the key thing there is good photo, because we get several blurry photos of what's this. Yeah, a blurry photo is my best answer.
The resolution is a problem with that. With sending a photo in, it needs to be generally high resolution, and sometimes the scale is also useful next to it, so that we can see the scale of it as well, because that does have an indication if it isn't blurry. But in the best cases, just send the insect in, and then we can go down to species level.
So for non-native species, are they more concerned if it's live, if it's dead? Do they want to know if it's dead, or
either or? Sometimes a pallet comes over from, say, India, where they've got termites. If it's dead, if the termite is dead, then there's very little next route. But if it's a house and you see some damage from in the woodwork, that's obviously the Forestry Commission will get involved and see what extent it is. So. It's actually, maybe we're understating the importance that you have in the field, seeing what's out there. Public health, you've got mosquitoes that will likely come through the UK. So you've got all of the diseases, the viral diseases that come through, and the parasitic diseases that go according to those insects. So major risk to the UK economy. Major risk to the way that we will behave, not being able to go outside, getting bitten by mosquitoes in the day. That will change the whole culture of UK living if these things don't get identified at a very early stage, that we can contain them.
So finding a tropical ant that's dead, it's not really going to cause us an issue. It isn't really a problem.
Well, it's best to highlight it. Saying nothing isn't the best thing. We've had acrobat ants in London; those aren't native. Let us know. Sometimes the ants are misdiagnosed initially. So we've had ants that have come in and they said, no, it's a big-headed ant, but it's some other species. So it gets quite intricate in identifying these insects based on the length of the hairs on the head and all sorts of other morphological. But yeah, it's like I said, it is important that these things get flagged up.
What's the situation now with the Asian hornet? Is it still a definite matter if we find them?
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting one. So the trend, Southern Europe, that insect pest over the last 10 years has come through Spain and kind of come up France, gone over to some of the islands, is it Guernsey, I think it is, and so you map out the travel, you know, how it has moved along. So in those countries, it's down to the pest controllers that it was initially the government, and then they hand it down to the pest controllers to treat those invasive insects. In the UK, it is still a government, you know, considered a DEFRA problem. If you have a look at how it's spread, it's in the UK, it's very quickly sorted out. There's a few nests a year that have been sorted out. I did look last year. I haven't really kept up to date with it. So has anybody else had a look at the Asian hornet? No. So yeah, I would think that if it gets out of control, the numbers of all of us together will then be able to get these things sorted out. FICAM D does have Asian hornet on the label, so it's that was put on specially for that risk. So that will, even though FICAM D is indoors only for that pest, it's almost a kind of a little bit of a scope creep, if you want to call it that, and they have put that on the label just to keep save the native bees in the UK. So yeah, one exception, and we did motivate for that to be on the label, and so which is an example of where the HSE have taken our considerations seriously. So they are open to a bit of dialogue, which is great news.